I think the only place I can really start to talk about this book is the moment that it really began, which is that on a crisp November night in 2012, I was playing intramural soccer in Tucson, Arizona, when my implanted cardiac defibrillator went off for the first time. Ideally, an ICD will shock the heart in order to disrupt a potentially fatal arrhythmia. My younger sister and I both have a genetic condition called long QT syndrome. That night, my device went off 3 times because of an error with its settings. In the otherworldly moments after I took 2,000 volts to my heart, not knowing it was an error, a strange and powerful question fell into my body, which was this question of, if these shocks just saved my life and the metal in my body required dismantling ecosystems or came from a conflict minerals area rife with child labor or sex slavery, was it worth it? This was a question that obsessed me in the years that followed. Lightning Flowers is the story of my troubled relationship to my own ICD within the context of both the American healthcare system and the device's global supply chain. In the years that followed, as I visited the mines that Bruce mentioned, a nickel and cobalt mine carved into endemic Madagascar jungle. I visited a mine shaft on the western shore of Rwanda. I was asking this question of whether other lives, plant, animal, human, had been lost in order to save my own. And at the same time, I was experiencing maybe the dark sides of this technology. In 2016, I learned that one of my defibrillator wires that goes from the device into my heart had actually been broken. And when we tried to extract that wire, it snapped off. And when the surgeon tried to remove the snapped wire, he accidentally stripped some of the plastic insulation off the wire. And so I now have a nest of stripped wire stuck in my right ventricle. And I live waiting for the day it will become dangerous enough to require an open chest surgery. So Lightning Flowers ends up being a book that brings a lot of big questions to one place. My life has been profoundly shaped by our country's healthcare policies, from passing out in a parking lot when I was 24 and trying to find care in a pre-Obamacare world, to then getting Obamacare but being restricted in terms of what specialists I could access for what was going on in my chest. The book is about our love affair with technology and this belief that the most advanced treatment is always the right one, as well as the invisibility of the resources that go into those technologies. In my own story, the ICD is not life-saving. It has been life-endangering over and over. But my younger sister, who also has the device, who went into cardiac arrest repeatedly her freshman year of college, she has been saved by her ICD. And so the calculus of making and using such a device is complex. When I have been working on this book over the last 8 years, I knew it would be relevant given the state of American healthcare and given our global climate change crisis, but I could not have imagined that it would come out in the midst of a global pandemic that asks that we make a lot of the decisions the book is talking about on a daily basis in terms of who's receiving care and who is not able to get that care. I also have spent my entire adult life living with death in plain view. And now for the first time, I'm suddenly surrounded by people who have to think about death when they go to the grocery store and when they go to the post office. And so I'm really excited to be able to speak into this space at this time, and so grateful to be here.